Good afternoon, Miss Morton. Thank you for coming down today. I understand that you've talked to your daughter for a little bit, and I'd like to know what you already know so I can make sure that we're on the same page.
Well, I did speak with Katie. I was very upset to find that she was so inconsolably upset. It's obviously not a call you expect to get during the middle of the day. From what I understand, she's had some issue here at school, and that's about all I know. She was just upset and said, "Please come get me."
Okay. All right. Well, let me explain to you what happened. Earlier today, I was informed by one of my English teachers that there was a disruption in his class caused by two male students, and after further investigation, he found that that disruption was centered around an image on one of the boys' cell phones. And he took the cell phone away, and he turned it into me and wrote up a referral, and we found that that image was of your daughter. And it was an inappropriate image, and that's when we didn't know who the student was. We knew that it was a freshman girl, and the boy had stated her name was Katie. And so we called your daughter up to the office, and the nurse and I spoke with her and asked if she knew the young man, and she did. And then we had asked if she was allowed for the young man to take a picture of her, and she had said yes. So she did become upset, and that's when we had allowed her to go sit in our quiet room so that she could calm down.
All right, and the young man, is he being detained in some way? Is there some sort of punishment for his action? Because I would hate to think that this is something that is happening frequently where he is posting this image to other people.
There will be discipline for him. I'm going to be meeting with him and his parents next.
And he's not anywhere near her now?
No.
Okay. Well, I understand. I am obviously disappointed in the situation. However, I still don't quite get where Katie has broken any school rules.
Okay. Well, Katie has actually broken a couple of our school rules. The biggest one that we're concerned of revolves around what is known as sexting. And in the beginning of the year, Katie went home with our student handbook, and her and one parent signed that they had read the student handbook and agreed to it. And within there, it talked about sexting and how sexting in any conduct is inappropriate behavior. And that includes the taking of or distributing of the photo or showing the photo. And it also states in there that we are required to report the situation to law enforcement. So the situation has been brought to the attention of our student resource officer. And I've spoken with her, and she feels at this time that it's not necessary to have any charges pressed. But we thought it would be best if the resource officer spoke to both of the students separately, and just to make them aware of their behaviors and the choices that they made and the consequences that could be attached to those behaviors if we see them again here at school.
Okay, and you're telling me that Katie told you she gave this young man permission?
Yes, she had nodded yes when I asked if she had allowed the young man to take her photo.
Okay, and I would like to know who this is. I would like to keep her away from him at all costs.
Okay, and I understand that. I would need to get consent from his parents when I speak to them, if they are okay with me giving their child's name to you. But that is also information that you can get from Katie when you talk to her.
Okay, and where is Katie now?
Katie is still in our quiet room.
Okay, well, and she's just been left there by herself? I mean, she's obviously upset.
Yes, she was there. We were with her before, and because she was upset, we had her go into the room so that she can calm down and so that I can go and talk with the student resource officer and we can get things kind of straightened out. And I needed you to come down and talk to her because she's not going to be able to go back to class today. We're going to have to ask you to take her home, and this could be an opportunity for you guys to go over our student handbook again and talk about the situation.
Okay, and you said you've already spoken with the resource officer. Is that, I mean, Katie was not a part of that conversation, I'm hoping?
No, she was not.
Okay, and what exactly would the resource officer be saying? You mentioned you would like for them to speak with Katie as well as this young man. That wouldn't be at the same time, correct?
No, she would talk to them separately.
Okay, and what would she have? I don't understand what advice this officer is going to give Katie. I mean, obviously it's something that I as her mother can give her.
That here at school we just feel that it's important that coming from our police officer here in school, that she could talk to them on the legal aspect, how this kind of behavior could get them in trouble and how serious it is.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, and while I understand that's the step that you need to take, if Katie is going to be involved in a conversation that revolves around legal consequences for her actions, I would request that her legal representation be present during that conversation.
Okay, we can arrange that.
When exactly were you planning? This is obviously not a today thing, correct?
Right, because I think it would be best if Katie went home and kind of thought about the situation. You guys can work through it together at home. I was hoping that they would be able to talk tomorrow because I don't want too much time to go by. I'd like to just take care of the situation so we can move forward.
And how many people have seen this image? I mean, this is something he was spreading around the classroom. What exactly? I'm confused about how the image became publicly visible to your teacher.
Okay. As far as we know, only the young man that has the photo on his phone had only shown it to one other student in the class. And obviously I can't speak of before we became aware of the situation, but from what we know, it was just one other student. And the instructor had asked the student to put away their phone because he saw that he had it out, and one of our school rules is to not have cell phones out during class. And he kept the phone out, so he had asked the student to put the phone up on his desk. And when he did, he had left it open so that the teacher would see the photo that was on there. And at that time, the cell phone was shut, and it was put in a bag with a referral and brought up to the office.
Okay. I'm hoping this is not a teacher that Katie has or will have.
It's not a teacher that she has at this time. If you would feel more comfortable with her not having this teacher in the future, we can make sure that that happens.
Is it known to Katie that this teacher has seen the image?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay. If it isn't, obviously I wouldn't want to cause more problems than there already are with this situation. I also would not want my daughter to be uncomfortable being in the presence of a male instructor who was an adult, having seen my daughter in a compromised way. I obviously am going to talk to her. I'm disappointed with the situation. I would have thought she'd made better choices. I can't control those, but I am going to have a very in-depth discussion with her about the repercussions that come from these types of decisions. However, I also do not want this to be widely known because not only would it make her embarrassed that the instructor had seen her, but if there were other students that knew that the instructor had seen her, that could open her to ridicule and other mocking things that I really would not want for her, because this is already going to be something that's embarrassing to her, I'm assuming. So I just want to make sure that we're not going to have any issues with that going forward.
Okay, I did not discuss with Katie how the picture was found and how it came up, because as soon as she realized that the picture had become aware even to me, that's when she had become upset. So would you like us to leave that up to you to discuss with her how it came about?
Yeah, I think once we have that conversation, it would be best for us to kind of, I think it's a good way for her to understand that just because you give something to one person doesn't mean that's the only person that you're giving access to.
Mm-hmm.
And whether she would have ever wanted this other person, young man in the room, or obviously not an instructor or anyone else to see this, that she has no control over it once she's given up that access. So I think that's a good opportunity for me to express that to her, because this is obviously something that she's not ever going to be able to take back. I just don't want it to grow into a bigger situation than it already is.
I understand.
And this young man, what are the disciplinary, what's going to happen to him? I mean,
I'm going to take care of that when I talk to him and his parents, because it's a different situation with him and it's a different student, so.
But this is not a slap on the wrist offense. Like, he's going to be punished in some way for this.
He would be getting the same disciplinary actions as your daughter, which is being sent home and having a parent come in and a parent conference. Although, because he is a different student, there will be some other actions, but it's not only has to do with this situation, but of just past student behavior.
Okay. All right. Well, and is there a way for the school to limit their contact? I mean, I obviously don't want him making fun of Katie in the hall, or I don't know if they have any classes. As you know, I don't know who this young man is. I've had some concerns with Katie. She's had a difficult transition into high school, not just with boys, but boys are very high on the list of issues that I think we're facing. And I just want to make sure that, I know how young men can be. I don't want it to be, I don't want it to grow into a group effort to where they are making this more of an issue. So I just need some sort of assurance that we're going to be able to. I realize it's high school. Just how are we going to keep it from being a bigger problem than it is right now?
Okay. I will express that concern when I speak to him and his parents as well. I think it might be a good idea that I also talk with our resource officer, and maybe that's something that she can arrange with both students when she speaks to them individually. I know that they don't have any classes together right now, so we don't have to worry about them having the interaction during class. And maybe she can set up a plan with them, some kind of agreement that they're going to avoid each other and not talk to each other, at least while they're here in school, while we can prevent it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think this is a good plan of action. I'm hoping that it has the intended effect. And as I said, I would like for her legal counsel to be present when she has that conversation about anything that could be possibly damaging as far as legal consequences are concerned. So I will arrange for our lawyer to be available when you decide to have that conversation. If you could just let me know when that will be.
Okay. And do you have any other concerns about Katie transitioning into high school, or any other questions?
Well, I know that her grades have slipped some. I just feel like I feel like that's kind of a natural adaptation to becoming a freshman in a new school and new people, and obviously high school presents so many more opportunities from a social standpoint than the younger years. Mm-hmm. And while I don't want to stunt her growth socially, I also am trying to find a good balance for it. I haven't just let her go crazy and do everything that she wants to do, but I do want her to, fall in and find some good friends and some good people here, just being a new environment. Okay. I am concerned about the grades. I think a lot of it has to do with, her exposure to boys more so than before, and some of the friends that she's made thus far, but I'm hoping to put her on a better path. I'm not exactly sure what my plan for doing that is, because as I said, with her coming to a new school, you don't necessarily know the students that she's interacting with. You just hope that she's going to find like-minded children, and it doesn't seem to have been the best choices thus far. So hopefully we can put her in some different social opportunities and circles so that she will meet some better influences.
Okay. We do have a program here on school. We have peer mentors who are junior and senior students that have performed academically well, and they're involved in various sports and activities on campus. And one of their classes is the peer mentor class, where they learn about ways to be good role models, and they do mediations and different things like that. If you think it would be a good idea, I could set Katie up with a mentor.
That would be great.
From that class, and maybe they could talk and give her some good ideas about how to find the right group of friends and balance her academic and her social life.
That would be great. I would prefer it be a female.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that would probably be an excellent influence for her as well. So let's plan on doing that, and I'll be happy to speak with her, and hopefully we will put this behind us.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in, and I'll have Katie meet you at the front of the office.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you so much.